All right, so here's the plan, everybody. What we're going to do is we're going to try to get as many questions answered as possible. We want to get as many people on screen as possible, and we want to answer as many of your questions that you put in using that comment question box, which is that blue box right here in the, it's right below our screen where you see our video going right now, and use that comment question box right now to start asking your questions. Some of you at some point may see that we turn off the questions because we have so many coming in that we don't want to overwhelm the system. Also, if you want to get on camera, be sure that you have your headphones in. We're looking, if you do speak English very well, that's kind of what we're looking for. If you don't, then just type your questions in and we'll definitely get to them. It's just easier to understand, so we keep everything flowing real well. I do have a Golden Fro Pick right here, and at some point further down the line, we are going to give this away to some winner, because one person didn't have to make a purchase is going to get this Golden Fro Pick, which comes with all the goodies from Black Rapid and also Adorama Picks. Yeah, one other thing I wanted to say, if you guys could tweet out on Twitter that we're live, you're watching the Fro and Adam, and if you could do it on Facebook or Google+, wherever you're at, that would be awesome. So Adam, I don't know, why don't we throw in some questions while Adam and I are talking? Father Anthony is here doing the moderating. Father, you got any questions ready that you could throw in on the screen? We'll start with that while you prep to get us a person on video. South Connecticut, Ad.
It's very nice. It's beautiful this time of year. It was a balmy 17 degrees when we got up.
And you sat around the fire, didn't you?
Last night, yeah. That was awesome.
Yeah. That's awesome. So do we have some, I guess I'll drag a question on since nobody's dragging one in. Why would you choose FX over DX other than for great ISO performance? That's a pretty good question, Russell. I guess a lot of it is if you want to use... that doesn't work either. It really does come down to ISO performance, better build quality of the cameras, because it's more of a professional thing. I would choose FX if you are a professional looking to shoot and do a lot of, get paid for your jobs, get better ISO capability. I think that's those are some of the main reasons I would do it. How about you, Ad?
I think it's also availability of lenses. And it's affordability. If you're somebody who does like a lot of events and portraits, I would say you're going to probably fare better with FX. If you're somebody who does lots of landscape photography, you actually might even fare better with DX because you get longer range with your zoom and you still get, plenty of quality when you're shooting, let's say, outdoors with available light.
That's definitely a good, thanks for bringing that up, Ad, because that makes a lot more sense. If you're shooting outdoors in bright daylight and you're shooting a lot of sports, that's where one of those D300Ss or a Canon 7D would be great because you're going to get more bang for your buck. Your 70 to 200 becomes a 100 to 300, 2.8, and you're doing incredible stuff outside. So awesome question. Thanks for doing that. Anthony, do we have anybody ready to throw on camera right now? While we answer this, go ahead, Ad. Why don't you take this? I see Strobus coming in, so why don't you go ahead and read that?
This is a really tough question because it really just depends on what you're trying to shoot. I mean, if you're shooting product, if you're shooting portraits, if you're somebody who wants to do TTL, or if you're comfortable going fully manual, the LumiPro and the Yongnuo Flash. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. Those are very good alternatives. As a professional photographer, I use those kind of more inexpensive flashes to kind of augment my stable of flashes. But as far as build quality, as far as versatility, you're probably going to get more bang for your buck with the Canon and Nikon. But then again, if you're somebody who doesn't need portability, you might also consider doing studio strobe. So it's a hugely open question. But I would say that if you're going to buy one flash and you're on Canon, get the Canon flash. If you're going to buy one flash and a Nikon, get the Nikon flash. And then if you really, are trying to save some bucks, maybe experiment with, a couple or one other off-brand flash to see how that augments your flash photography.
Definitely. Yeah, that's good too. So yeah, I'm looking for somebody to come on the camera if we've got them here. Let's get them on camera if we can. Adam, did you shoot it all last night?
No, I did not.
No?
But I'm very sniffly right now, so forgive me.
Oh.
Hey guys, how are we?
Good. Where are you calling
Hey.
from?
From Australia. How are we?
We're good. Hey, Tim.
Yeah, very good. You know, it's funny because I did a photo critique of Lee's work, so it's nice to see you. How's everything
Thank
down
you
under?
very much for that.
Yeah,
Thanks for
no,
all
beautiful.
your really appreciate it. I've
Sure,
got a
man.
question about photographing in really harsh lighting situations. So
Yeah,
down in Australia, you've got the beautiful beaches, really bright sunny conditions,
yep.
temperature around 53 degrees, 110 Fahrenheit. I just want to know what I should be using in like a portable lighting system, whether it should be just one flash or use some off-camera flash units.
What are
Can
you
you help me
photographing?
out? Weddings mainly.
Mm.
Well, the thing is that in bright, harsh sunlight, you know, ideally, if you can find some kind of a softbox, which is like off in the side of a building or under a tree, that greatly, you know, helps to diffuse whatever that harsh light's going to be. However, if you can't, you know, you just want to shoot at a fast shutter speed and you know, push a little bit of light to your subjects with an off-camera flash. I mean, it's a tough thing because if you are outside and you don't have a flash, you are going to get harsh shadows on people's faces, and it isn't often the most flattering looks, particularly for wedding photography. But if you have somebody
Okay.
that can either, you know, assist you with a flash or you can bring one on a stand, you can certainly help to override that harsh ambient light that you're experiencing.
And then also, when you're shooting for weddings, I know we did this with Adam, where we had a soft box and we had one stand and we had one light, and we were able to have an assistant carry it around and put it right where we needed it for the shoots. It makes it easier to move around. And then sometimes if you're indoors, I've seen guys bring in actual studio lights and put them up in the corners, in the four corners, and trigger them all off. That's something that you could possibly think about doing in the future. It's more power. You just have to be careful when you're doing that.
Yeah. But outside, don't be afraid, even if it's bright light, to use a flash. You know, you can absolutely get really nice lighting on people in bright sunlight by using a flash to somewhat override the natural light.
Okay, thank you, Lee.
Cool.
We
Thanks,
did
guys.
we did the 2 minutes. Thanks for calling from. What time is it over there?
Oh,
Anthony, if I got a question going, don't let him go yet. All right, Tim, you're up. What's going on, man?
All right. Can you guys hear me?
Absolutely.
yep.
Hello? Okay. So my question is how to properly expose using an on-camera flash indoors where the lighting's not really very good. And so should I focus on the background, like properly exposing the background, and then popping the flash on my subject?
That's always preferred. It just depends on the ISO capability of your camera. You know, if you've got a camera that you can pump the ISOs on to get a decent shutter speed, and you can balance the ambient light with your flash, then that's great. If you're photographing in an extremely dark setting, you might have to be creative and use your flash or multiple flashes to kind of create an ambient scene. So it really depends. You know, there's often times when you're photographing an event or a party, and it's in a club or a bar or in a restaurant or somewhere where like the lights are way down, you know, to set the mood, and there's nothing you can do. So it's really about creating a scene, and that's what you're doing. You're going in there, you're looking at what you have available to you, you're deciding, okay, do I want, you know, the details in here to be prevalent? Is this part of the scene that I'm creating? And if so, how am I going to light this? And then you add light to that to finish your scene.
And
So you kind of dial up the flash to basically bring your subjects in, whether you want them moody, whether you want them, you know, really brightly lit. It's really just, it's completely up to you. And once you kind of figure that out, you'll be amazed at how you can really create those scenes.
yeah, and you know what I've noticed? Hold on, give me a second.
Go ahead,
Like
Adam.
what I've noticed is when I shoot weddings or indoors with flash, and if it's a pitch black room and you just have lights just around you, it kind of makes it hard to get the background to fall in no matter how much you slow the shutter speed down. But if you've got those like wall sconces, or you've got uplights on the grounds that are the LEDs that they bring in from different event companies, as you slow your shutter speed down, you start to let more of that ambient light fall in the background while still exposing your subject properly. That makes for a nice professional looking image, more so than if you were just popping a flash and they look great, nice and bright, but the background's all dark. Cool?
Right. And I think that balancing.
I was saying that was the issue that I've always had, is that the photo never looked like I really wanted it to. And I think it's just my lack of knowledge on how to properly expose it.
Okay.
Well, one of the things that you can always do is you can try to replicate a scenario like that, and grab a friend, grab your sister, grab your cousin, whoever you can, and just say, look, I need you for a couple hours. I need to try to figure out how to better do my lighting in various scenarios, particularly when I'm actually on a gig. And you figure out, and then you write down those settings so that when you're in that situation, you're like, oh, you know what? The last time this worked, when I was testing it, I was ISO 800, I was f3.5, I was 1/8 power on my flash, and it actually looked really cool. And that's your baseline. That's where you start. And then depending on your circumstance, you dial up or down on different things to really get that scene to look correct.
All right.
So take the time to figure it out before you get back out there.
Awesome. Tim, thank you guys. Thank you very much for joining us. Let's throw up some questions, guys. If we've got Xmas lights, tips, and tricks. I would, it's always a tough one. You could definitely handhold. You could also throw it up on a tripod, but I would probably have like a lower ISO. I think it would be kind of similar to shooting fireworks, wouldn't you think, Ad?
Absolutely, because you don't want those lights to just be blown out and just lose all of your detail, unless of course creatively that's what you're going for. If you're ideally, look, tripod, and long exposure,
high ISO,
small aperture, like f11.
Yeah,
ISO
f11,
200.
f16, 200 ISO. Go on bulb. Try slower shutter speeds. Just play around. I mean, that's, again, I talk about this all the time. Cause and effect. What's going to happen if I try this? And the only way to learn and the only way to see what's going to work for you is if you try it. There's no set way to do everything. It's either going to work or it's not going to work, and you're going to learn this by trying. And some things that may work for you may not work for the next guy. I probably should have made a Christmas lights video, but I didn't even think about that. So that's a good question, Kevin. Thank you. I know, Adam, you did some Instagram Christmas lights pictures the other day. That was pretty interesting.
That's just a matter of just holding still and hoping for the best. I mean, the iPhone has a pretty, what is it, like a 2.4 f2.4 lens or something.
It's something 2.5 maybe.
Yeah, I mean it lets quite a bit of light in. Look, when you look at that image on your iPhone, it looks cool, and then when you look at it on like a full screen, it's very noisy. You
know what?
But go ahead.
Before we get to this next question, that brings up when I went and shot some band photos in the pit the other day of Get the Lead Out, a Led Zeppelin tribute band. They looked awesome on the camera. The colors looked great.
Right.
I was in the pit. Excuse me. I was in the pit and I talked my way down there. The security guard's like, you really shouldn't be in there. I said, let me take one picture for 10 seconds and then you tell me if I can go back in. I showed him this picture and it was incredible. He's like, okay, go ahead. And so I took maybe 5 or 6 pictures, processing them all at the same time. And some are sharp. You can see in the computer that one's better than the other and one's sharper than the other. But it's not as good as a digital SLR, but it's pretty amazing. All right.
Yeah, and if that's all you have with you, that's your camera, man. That's what you got.
Yeah, and while we're here, we got a quick little thing before I answer this question. Please Facebook and Twitter this. If you guys have just joined the room, definitely do that. That would be great. So that would be awesome if you could do that so we can get more people in to watch and learn. So is there an advantage for having a battery grip? I'll say this. If you're on a pro camera, you're on like a Canon 60D, I'll call that a prosumer camera, a 60D, a 7D, a D7000, any camera that is a step up from that D3100s and that type of range, the advantages are you can now shoot vertically with a shutter release, where you're no longer reaching your hand over. Hold on, I have a D3100 here. If I can reach it,
right?
I can reach it. You're no longer going like this, which is awkward. This is awkward when shooting because your elbow's out, and when your elbow's out, you're not that still. But if you get a vertical grip, oh God, there's a voice. Let me pull out this camera. if you have a vertical grip like this, look how much better this is. I now can shoot vertically just like this. That's awesome. In some of the other cameras,
I would say,
go ahead. No, go ahead, Ed.
No, I would agree completely. I mean, I remember I had a gig. I was shooting runway for Fashion Week, and I had the D700 at the time, and I did a couple shows where I had the camera on the monopod, and I was shooting like this, and I got like the claw, like my hand was like seriously frozen and dying, and right from like when I finished that last show, you know, after shooting all day, I put that battery grip on, and it was like worlds difference. And you also have more control, you have more stability, and you also have twice the battery life. You have more frames per second. I mean, there's a lot of enhancements. It's not for everybody because it also adds bulk and weight. But yes,
yeah,
Jared?
Yeah. What I was going to also say is a lot of people with the beginner cameras, they always sit there and they're like, should I get a vertical grip? And if Nikon or Canon doesn't make one for that lower end camera, I'm not a big fan of buying the third party grips. I think the money is better spent on lenses, accessories that will get you better pictures. Now, it's going to help you with extra batteries. Like for my D7000, I can have 2 batteries in there. I actually have that over here too. I can have 2 batteries in there. One's in the camera, one's in the grip. And so I get twice as much battery life, which is awesome. Yeah, what just popped up on the screen, I've got Heidi back here. She's actually came in for Sunday, which is normal. She's packing packages. I can't guarantee that they'll get there by Christmas, but if you place an order today before around 2, we'll get that order printed, packed, and hopefully shipped in the mail tomorrow so that it can be on its way. Maybe not for Christmas or Hanukkah or Kwanzaa or what other holidays that I may not have mentioned, but be sure to, yeah, if you want to do that, that $10 sale is still going on. So that's it. That's enough plug from me.
Nice.
Yeah, so if, what did I want to say? I wanted to tell people something. I don't remember. Do we have that guy? We have somebody ready to come on camera, guys? Oh, yeah. Yep. So we got Josh Wiley coming on. And don't forget, I've got a Golden Fro Pick coming up for somebody, a Fro fan and all that. We'll get to that. Oh, Josh, well, you're here. You might as well ask your question if you can. You're on camera.
Yes.
All right, can you hear me all right?
Yes, we can.
Yep.
Okay. So I took some photos of a car up in the Teton National Park. I think I Facebooked you.
Yes, I remember this. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, no problem. But what my problem was I gave them just a disc. They're out of towners with a nice car, wanting to use it for a little bit of advertising at car shows, and I did some Christmas type photos for them too. So still snow. They're under the inclination that they get the print copyright, and I wrote a piece of paper out, said no copyright, just printing. I know you guys probably don't do that because you're more professional, but how do you handle situations like this?
I got.
When it's just a one-time.
Well, what you
out of counters, stuff like that.
Well, what you did is right. There is nothing wrong with you writing down on a piece of paper or in an email that says there's no copyright. Just you said prints, right?
Yes.
Yeah. No, that's perfect. That's what you should do. Now, everybody runs into this issue where people want more for less, and they think they can do everything with the images. Now, one thing you can do to protect yourself is give them low-res images that give them only the ability to make certain prints.
Right.
You did everything you could. It's hard. Sometimes people think that they should get more, but they really shouldn't unless they're going to pay for it. And I think you did everything you should do. But when it comes to copyrights and this stuff, you know, you take the picture, you own it, they pay you, but they're paying you for a certain thing that you tell them that they're getting. If they go beyond that, there's really not much you can do. I mean, that's why it's tough to give. Once you give somebody the files, they can basically do whatever they want. Technically, they can just make the prints, but, you know, they shouldn't. They really shouldn't. Go ahead, Ad. I see you got something.
Well, here's the thing. It's a really good idea, you know, now that you've encountered the situation, to do some research, go online and find some usage. They're called usage documents, where basically, you know, there's even a really terrific website done by Rob Haggard called aphotoeditor.com, and he will often reprint. He'll maybe blackline, you know, personal details or specific details about clients, but he will reprint usage and rights documents that are really good resources for photographers that are not quite aware on how to do something like this. And then if you've got a smartphone or something like that, you can travel with these documents in your phone, and then when you're presented with a situation like that, you can actually create a usage document and just say, look, and be very specific about what the rights are that these folks have to use with those images that you're giving them. And you really, as a photographer, you need to protect yourself and your copyright. And like, I also agree with Jared. You know, there's also times when if you're concerned about them reprinting 300 DPI for a magazine ad without your permission or without paying you for licensing, then you just give them low-res files and you say, look, here's the low-res files. If you want to negotiate usage for using something in an advertisement, I'm happy to do that. And everything can be negotiated.
And also, if you're worried about it, this is the time where you put a big, huge watermark right across the image. And it's like, yeah, if you really, really want to use it, you're coming to me to get the files, because, you know, if somebody's been giving you problems and they just, you know, they don't want to pay you, or they're like, well, we should own everything, then just don't deliver the stuff the way that they could use it. But we'll keep talking. Thank you for coming on and asking that question. That's perfect. And I hope, did we answer it well enough? Is that good?
She was having problems where she was trying to go to like a Walgreens or something to print them, and it's nice that they wouldn't print them because I do have my watermark on the corner.
Okay.
But that's why I had to give her the piece of paper that said that. So
nice.
Yeah, I mean that does help out, and that's nice to know that, you know, third people who print won't unless they have some type of release form.
Well, they can get sued.
That's great. And speaking of that, there's like an easy release app for the iPhone. It's a model release app that you can download. People can just sign it with their finger or whatever, and then you can email a PDF to you and whoever you're working with at the time. So there's a lot of resources that you can just have with you at all times.
Nice.
Thank you very much, Josh.
Thanks a lot.
That was cool. I mean, that's true. If you guys are ever thinking that you have a problem with copyrights or what somebody should get, make sure you just put it down in writing. You put it in an email, you write it, and you deliver it to somebody and say, look, this is what your usage is. Just make sure it's somewhere, you know, and make sure you protect yourself, that if you are worried that somebody's going to do something with your images, don't give them high-res files. All right, let's throw up another question on the screen for us, please. While I type this in, if you would still like to, I'm giving the store, I'm typing that into the chat down in the bottom, and yeah, go ahead, Ad, you can read this, and then I'll go in.
Camera bags, you know, it's really a subjective thing, and it really depends on what you're doing. Jared will agree, and I think if you asked any photographer, that there's never one camera bag for any, you know, as your all-inclusive bag. I mean, how many bags do you have? How many bags do I have? You know, it's just, there's certain brands that I think you and I definitely gravitate toward because of the build quality, because of the team that's behind them, and you know, they're, you know, whatever. But this is a really kind of a big question. I think Jared has something to say about it.
I have something to say. I was going to say, you know, one ring to rule them all. There is no one ring to rule them all. There's not one perfect bag. You know, sometimes a photo shoot, a backpack's best. Sometimes a rolling bag is best. Sometimes a shoulder bag is best. And sometimes nothing is best because it just doesn't work. I have a room over here with Adam's. I don't think I have shown you the shelf, right, Adam? You've seen my shelf. I've shown it to a bunch of people that have been here. Hold on. Yeah. I did. Yeah. I have a big shelf with a lot of stuff on it. I have a lot of think tank bags. I like their products. I also had a company called Vanguard send me some stuff that I'm going to try out. There's a ton of different companies that are around that have really, really good bags. So it's just a matter of what works for you. I like my think tank gear. I know that Adam has it, but there are other bags that just serve the purposes. Go ahead, Ad.
I would say that if you're considering buying a bag, take your camera and put the lens that you shoot with most, let's say, with you in whatever you currently carry, and go to a camera store where they feature a lot of different brands and see how your camera fits in that bag, and then think, what lenses am I going to carry with me in this situation? Am I going to have flashes? Am I going to have extra batteries? Do I actually need space to carry a laptop? Think about what your scenario is going to be, and then kind of figure out how it's all going to fit in that bag. And also understand that as you progress as a photographer, you're going to have more gear, and you're never going to just you're probably not just going to have one bag.
You know what? That also brings up another thing. When I used to work at Allen's and I'd help people find bags on the big, huge bag wall that they had, I would tell them, don't buy just to fill the bag this one. If you're filling this bag with a camera and a lens and a couple of accessories, right, and you're not leaving yourself any room to grow. So make sure you leave yourselves some room to grow as a photographer. So let's get another question. Maybe somebody else can get on here. What would be an ideal lens for fashion shows? Any tips and suggestions? I had some challenges last time on my first fashion show shoot. Ori, thank you, Ori. Adam, I think, would you agree 70 to 200 is probably a good one, a 24 to 70 and a 70 to 200?
Absolutely. Look, if you're shooting runway, you absolutely need something like a 70 to 200 because you're typically going to be in a photo pit. You're going to be pretty far from the models, but you want to be able to have, you want to be able to get the model in full frame, and you have to kind of work with what you have. And oftentimes, and I've seen photographers do this, let's say you have a 24 to 70 or whatever you might have, but you don't own a 70 to 200. Just rent it for the show. See how it does for you. You don't actually have to just go out and buy the 70 to 200 if you don't normally shoot with that and you're just doing one show. But 70-200 2.8 is a fantastic lens for doing runway stuff.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's great. So we'll answer this, and let's bring the next guy on the camera so that they can prepare. And composition, how would you recommend to improve practice? Great question.
Yeah. Where's the little...
Yeah, well, that's what I'm looking for right now. I have about 6 of them in my bag, Ad. I have 6 of them in my bag, and none of them are sitting on my... None of them are sitting here. Just study composition. Even if you sit here like this and you look around at the world and you see the world as if it's a camera and everything that you're going to shoot is a different frame, study movies. Movies are perfect pictures every time because there's a director of photography there, and they're making the right images. They're giving the right composition or the best composition for that. There's no right or wrong, again, but there are things that work better than others. So it's just, just fill the frame. Take multiple shots of the same thing. Move your angles. See what works best for you. That's why I don't crop. I take a wide shot of somebody's head. It's like a full body. Then, not a full body, but a shoulders to head. I'll take a shot. Then I'll recompose, come in tighter. Then I'll go in even tighter. Then I'll go horizontal. I'll give myself extra looks. Go ahead, Ad.
No, I think that's perfect. And I think that also with composition, look at your surroundings. I mean, if you're taking a photograph, let's say, of somebody, in their house, and like maybe they have like a sweater discarded, over the back of a chair, and that's the one thing that's like doesn't really fit the scene, take the time to just go and move that sweater, move that chair out of the way. Look at your surroundings. Oftentimes it's very easy to kind of get, eluded by your subject, and then you kind of like lose touch with all of the other surroundings that are out there. And like Jared said, you want to move around, you want to, shoot in, you want to shoot back. But I think a lot of times people can be so eager to get that shot that they realize, I really wish that door hadn't been open, or I really wish that hadn't been sitting on that table. And sometimes just taking that extra moment to just, anyway.
All right. So we've got, what's it, Yoav? Did I say it right? I think you may need to turn your mic on. Uh-oh.
We're not getting any audio.
All right, guys, talk to Yoav on the side over there. See if we've got somebody, I don't know what that means. See if we've got somebody else on the other ready, queued up for video that we could bring in here. That would be great. In the meantime, composition is utmost importance to photography. If you can master something, that would be the thing to master, Yeah, that's definitely, we'll leave that at that. What tripod do you use, and what is a good first tripod? I'll say this, a good first tripod is not a $20 tripod, because those basic tripods seem to fall apart so easy. And if you can afford to, squeeze out a little bit for a better tripod, one of those Bogans, one of those Vanguards, one of those three-legged things, if they've got something in your price range that you can, have for 20 years, that would be great. Because I know I've had my 055 MF4 from Bogan that I've had for many years. It's carbon fiber. I spent a pretty penny on it, but I've had it for the last 5-6 years, and I'll continue to use it. How about you, Ad?
I completely agree. You don't want to cheap out on a tripod. And I think, again, it's like the bags. Go to a camera store, physically hold them in your hand, see what they do, see how tall they get, see what the weight is like on them, how is the hardware, does it feel plasticky, or does it feel solid? Just think about, here's always how you think about it. If you're going to spend a few $1,000s on a camera, you don't want to put that on a cheap or crappy tripod that's just going to potentially put your gear at risk.
Absolutely not.
I think that you have to think that the two should go hand in hand.
Yep. That's a good one. Do we have anybody ready to come on camera again? We had Gerald.
Gerald.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good. How are you? I got one question. We've had a couple of bald guys today. What's going on with that?
Hey, you know what? I wish I had the hair. I had it back in the day, man. I don't have it anymore.
I like the smooth, though.
I'm envious.
Smooth is nice. All right, what's your question?
Thanks a lot. I have a Nikon D7000, and I just got into photography, so I went kind of low end as far as the Speedlight. So I have an FP600.
Okay.
What advantages or disadvantages is having a 600 versus an 800 or not the new 910 that just came out?
Adam, this is you because you have. There's nothing. First off, nothing wrong with the 600. 600's great.
Yeah,
it's a great little flash.
It's an awesome Speedlight. So
okay.
you didn't go low end at all, man. That's a great Speedlight, and that's a great starting light. And the beautiful thing about the 600 is that it does TTL, it does CLS.
Yes.
It works friendly with all of the current models of from this. Basically, the 600, 700, 800, 900, 910, whatever. Those are like the most current that have all the flexibility to work in commander mode and do TTL. Yeah. So you've got a really great Speedlight there. As far as the 900 is concerned, it's a huge investment, or the 910 I should say, but it also has quite a few more features. If you look at the back controls on the 600, it's fairly limiting. There's only so much you can do in commander mode, whereas the 910, you can I don't know, Jared, you had one of these in your hands the other day.
Yes, I did.
The amount of flexibility.
His, video he did on that. Yeah, I did see the different options. There were way more options. Nothing I don't know that I would use right now.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is that I think that people get hung up on having to have gear. And I think that Jared and I will always say, get to know your gear, get the most out of it. When you get to that point, when you realize, okay, you know what, I'm a little bit limited, then think about, augmenting what you have. But you've got a great Speedlight, and it probably, can do a lot of things that you might not even be aware of at this point.
And what I'll say is,
yeah, exactly.
These flashes, they may have a lot of modes in them, but it's not. You just go out and you shoot with these things, and you use them basically to do what they are meant to do. I know we had a lot of problems with a lot of people complaining that the 900 overheated. I know a ton of people with 900s, and the ones that were overheating are people that are sitting there shooting sports, and they're shooting low ISOs that are having to dump tons of power, and they're just motor driving, boom, 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 boom. This was never the problem with film, because you could never motor drive through your film. You're not going to do that, so you weren't ever going to overheat your flash. They're zooming the head all the way in, so it's sending out the biggest burst, and they're dumping full power, and they're trying to do it 20 times in a row. Sure, your head could overheat and melt, and it happened more in the 900 than it did in the 800, we can say that. But if you just shoot regularly and you're not overcommitting the flash, you don't have a problem. So, hey, Gerald,
okay,
thank you very much. Good luck.
Yes.
Nothing wrong with what you have.
Guys.
D7000, 600, SP600, great way. If you can pick up a 600, you can pick up a 700, you can pick up an 800 used. I know that Alan had two 900s used for $379 yesterday in the store. Yeah, I know Adam's about ready to call him to say he wants them.
No.
You have enough, right?
Well, I'm covered in that area right now. I love the 800s. I've actually I went on a little bit of quest and I bought a bunch of them, and they've been incredibly reliable to me. But one thing I have noticed, in speaking of speedlights, is that I find that using the nickel metal hydride batteries, the rechargeables, as compared to alkalines, is a really good idea, because the alkalines tend to overheat. And I've heard stories of people that have actually, ruined their flashes, ruined the guts of their flashes with overheating. So
I use lithiums.
That's one thing to keep in mind.
I know lithiums are more expensive, but I just love how long they last, because you know how much I shoot flash, and that's why I guess my batteries last so long.
Yeah, I mean, I've got, you wouldn't even know the array of batteries that I carry around with me.
Can you believe I was picking my hair and I dinked my face? I hope I didn't bend these things.
Like one of these kind of things.
Is it doing that? I just always feel like it's like my face. Anyway, we've got Bryant. Bryant, what's going on? You got a question? Maybe? Nope. Something went wrong with Bryant. That's not good. We have another one lined up in there? Or another question? Uh-oh.
Oh.
Somebody took Adam off. But you're on. What's going on?
Hi, I want to really thank you for
You're welcome.
invite me. I have just a question. I want to sorry for English first.
Go ahead.
I'm from Czech Republic.
Oh.
If you're taking a photo and in black and white, it's better to take them in black and white, or editing a colored one photos?
Great question. Great question. Just hang on here. I'm going to answer that. Thank you for practicing your English. You did a very nice job. We take all our photos in color. The reason is when you shoot raw, you maintain all of that color data. So there's the people that are shooting JPEGs that are shooting black and white are losing all the color data. So,
I'm shooting raw.
Yeah, well, you're shooting raw. Honestly, you could set the camera to black and white if you wanted. Say you were shooting for a client and you just wanted to show them black and white only and never have them question you about the color. You can do that, and then what happens when you get the raw file in the computer, you just turn the color back on and you're ready to go. Cool?
Okay.
All right. Well,
thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks for calling from the Czech Republic. That's really cool. That's awesome. I love hearing where everybody's calling from. Why don't you guys type into the chat box down here and just say where you're at in the world? It would be really cool just to see that. And we'll talk to Kobus. Ooh, wow. Did I get it right, Kobus?
Yeah, yes.
Yep, you're on. What's going on? What's your question?
Our question was this: I'm wearing glasses, like you see, and I just an eyepiece, but can I sometimes my pictures get out of focus a bit? 7,000. So I'm wondering what's my glasses off the back focusing when I hear about.
Oh yeah, I'll answer this because I have a D7000. I don't think it's your glasses. I really think it's the camera. What lens are you using?
The Sigma 18125.
Okay.
And Nikon 7300.
Okay. I don't think it's your lenses. I honestly think there's something with the D7000 that has some focusing issues going on, because I've had the same problem with the D7000, totally missing the focus and just hitting the background. I would call Nikon. I would see if there's something particularly wrong with yours. I would see if they could send it in to be tweaked or looked at or replaced or something, if you can do that, because I have the same issues. I may actually do the same thing with mine, because I've noticed it as well. Have you noticed it more when you're shooting wider than when you're shooting tighter?
No, but wider lenses, yeah. Wider goes worse then. The background's all blurry.
Yeah.
And I thought maybe it was, I just do it in manual focus. I said, they also say that this on autofocus, that can be the real problem.
Yep.
If you manual focus, we go away a bit.
Well, if you can get your manual focus, right, then go for it. But the camera should be autofocusing better. So thank you for your question. We'll keep talking about it. Good luck. But yeah, I think it's the camera in this case. I would definitely call Nikon and see if they'll do something. Go ahead.
The other thing is that you and I both like using the focus beeps, because that's when we know that the focus is locked.
But doesn't mean that it's going to be right with the D7000.
Okay.
I'll tell you that much, because I was sitting here the other day, and I had the 24-70 on, and I was focused right on the guy's face, and I looked at it and it's focused on the wall and there is no explanation for why it should be doing that. Maybe Nikon will get angry with me for saying it, but you know what? If it doesn't work and there's an issue, they need to fix it, because that issue, I know it happens more in some T7000s than others, but that's not a good thing, and I don't think that's a software fix. So hopefully it's something they'll correct. Yeah. We got a question to pop up or a person to bring in? There's so many people from around the world. Did you see how many people were from around the world, Ad, when they were typing in?
Amazing, man. There's folks from Greece, from England, from Czech Republic, all over the country, from Florida to California to Long Island. I mean, it's really an impressive group of folks we got here.
All right, here's
Austria, Poland, Russia. Wow.
Wow,
Canada, very cool.
We're covered by the whole world. So this is a great question. We've got insurance your gear. Is there? I guess that's not. Is there any special plan for photographers in the USA? Yeah, what I learned from my teacher at Antonelli Institute, my professor, I went through him first, and he told me, like, it's called a Marine Midland policy. It's not a homeowner's policy. You can get policies to cover your gear if it's in your home, but it's not really, it doesn't cover as much as a separate, what they call a Marine Midland policy. And I have mine through Travelers, and I think it's like $500 a year. It's not that bad for what I am covering. And what it covers is if somebody steals my camera, if somebody, if it breaks because I drop it, not if it breaks on its own. It doesn't cover if there's like a defect and it's just wear and tear. It doesn't cover that. But if a car runs over it or you drop it and it's just messed up, it's going to cover that. And your deductible's not that bad. And it's really, really reassuring to have your gear insured so that you go buy something new, they cut you a check. I'm not a big fan of fraudulent claims. Fraudulent claims are bad. It's karma. Karma is bad. If something happens and you try to say that it was something else, I don't even come close to ever thinking of doing that just for karmic, relief, whatever. It just weighs on my mind, and yeah, it comes back to bite you in the butt. Also, on top of insurance, and then we'll get to you, Ad, is there's liability insurance. I've got $3 million in liability that if one of my light stands falls over and hits somebody in the head and I get sued, I've got $3 million in liability. Also, if somebody trips over something, I have liability. If I hit somebody with a monopod, depending on the situation, I have liability. So, Adam, what would you like to add?
No, I'm in the same boat, man. I've actually got $4 million. I guess they just offered it to me.
$4 million. I'm sorry.
Whatever. They just. No, liability I think is huge, particularly when you're being hired in remote locations. And that's the other thing about the insurance is that it covers your gear no matter where you are, whether you're traveling, whether you're home, whether you're on the road, whatever the case may be. You need to itemize your gear. You need to submit, I guess, a rider that shows all of your gear. It's just a smart thing to have you and your gear covered. There was something I was going to say there, and I don't really remember what it is. But there are policies out there.
In the next few minutes, I'm going to announce the Fro Pick, Golden Fro Pick winner. So it would be cool if people would put out on Facebook and Twitter that we'll be announcing the winner. Then that would be cool. I'd like to see if we could get more people. If we could hit 300 in here, it would be really cool today. I'll just talk about the Fro Pick winner before I even announce who it is. But I shipped out 4 of these around the world. So I know 1 went to Canada. I know 2 went to the US. I know that another one went to Denmark. And the last one was selected random on Facebook or Google Plus or from the Twitter followers and also the email list. I went through, and I picked a random person that I will send this to in the mail. And then they will also be entered to win the extra Think Tank retrospective bag that Think Tank sent us to give away, which is awesome. And, I'll use this one just a little bit so whoever gets it. Should I just announce it now? Should I announce it now, guys, in the chat room? Type in a yes or a no. You want to hear the winner? Somebody? Yeah? Uh-oh.
I don't think anybody wants to hear it.
Well, yeah, there's like 70, 90, 327 people that want to hear the winner. I'll give the first initial of the name, starts with a D of their first name, and the last name starts with a W. Anybody with the DW fit into that range that's here? Anybody with the initials DW? Somebody's got one. No, I don't think Leon Ho. I don't think that fits. Okay, first name. I don't think it's a very prevalent first name, but we've got. We'll go with the last name first. We've got Watson. We got DeMar Watson, selected randomly on Facebook. DeMar Watson from, I believe he's in the United States. He is winning this Fro Pick. There was no purchase necessary to win this. Let's give him a congratulations, everybody. DeMar Watson, he'll be getting this sent to him. I just have to get his address, whatever, send it to him, and he's going to get a Black Rapid RS Sport. Thank you, guys. Black Rapid RS Sport. He's going to get a photo book from Adorama Picks, and he's going to be entered to win a retrospective 30, which is what, like $180 bag, Adam?
So wait a second. You're giving somebody like all the great tools there. You're giving them a Black Rapid Sport.
Yep.
Which I know I use all the time and I love. And a retrospective 30, which is like the all-around carry-around camera bag that's built really beautifully. And an Adorama photo book?
And an Adorama photo book. And I don't know if maybe I'll throw in some T-shirts in there just for fun. But yeah.
Wow.
So one of the 5...
You're in the spirit of giving.
Well, not everybody's getting that book. Not everybody's getting the think tank bag. That's going to be selected randomly from the 5 that have the Golden Fro Pick. But everybody will be getting an RS Sport and an Adorama Picks book, which is really awesome. So congratulations, DeMar Watson. Let's get back to the questions. No Sigma, no Kevin Cater. I'm not giving away a Sigma yet. So who do we have here? We've got...
Hi.
Hey, what's going on?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Hi, first of all, and I wanted to ask, I enjoy shooting sports such as high school football, basketball, and baseball, and I'm trying to decide between Tamron 70 to 200 2.8 and the Sigma 70 to 200 2.8 non-OS.
Non-OS, great question. I actually had this discussion with somebody last night whose friend went with the Tamron. There's two schools of thoughts here. Some people say that the image quality in the Tamron is better. Some say that the build quality of the Sigma is better than the Tamron, and I seem to like the Sigma myself. I've used that 70 to 200 version 2 non-OS, which they've discontinued, by the way. If you can find one, Alan may still have some in stock. I know he was at $7.99 with free shipping. I don't know if he has any left. He bought like 100, and he's sold most of them. But I like the Sigma. I've used that. Have you seen the review that I did of that? I liked it a lot. I think what body are you on, by the way?
Body D90.
Okay, no, that's perfect. I think the Sigma would be the right way to go. The non-OS is perfect, especially for the sports that you mentioned. Even actually for all sports, I don't think OS is necessary because it's not going to freeze the motion. If people did pick up the OS, that's a great lens just as well. Here's my theory on this type of glass. When you're on the D90s, the D7000s, the D3, starting to push the D300s, not so much, it's great to start with that Sigma lens because you can use it for the next couple of years as you progress as a photographer and then turn around and sell that back to somebody else for almost the same price that you paid for it because it's still worth a lot of money, you know? Do you have anything you want to add there?
No, I completely agree with you. I mean, that's a great piece of glass. I think the money is really well spent. I think it's a great investment. And, you know, glass is a commodity. I mean, it's something that it's always going to hold its value. Camera bodies, you're going to replace. I mean, the D90 is a fantastic body. It's got a lot of life left in it. But over time, you'll probably replace more camera bodies than lenses, and that lens is definitely a great investment.
Yeah, nowadays you'll replace more camera bodies. Back in the day, we used bodies for like 8-9 years before but they wouldn't even put new ones out. But yeah, here for you, Ada. I said that right, correct? It's Ada. My first professional lens was an 80 to 200 Nikon, and I would still nowadays the Sigma is a better choice than that. So that Sigma 70 to 200, give Alan a call. Let him know you talked to us on the air. See if he's got any left in stock. If you're ready to get that, that would be a great lens to start with, especially for sports. That's the right choice.
Will he ship to California?
Absolutely. He'll ship anywhere in the United States. Actually, you can go on the website too. You can go to allenscamera.com. If you guys could throw that on the screen at some point, allenscamera.com. I'll type it in myself and see if you guys can approve this. And I got to hit the right button. And then, yeah, you can check there, look up Sigma 70 to 200s, and you can see if that works for you. And that's it. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good one. So yeah, definitely love that lens. I like to see these young shooters come on here and get it early. That glass is important. I understand it's expensive, but as you progress, you'll just see a major difference. And even here, let's just go into a quick little making money, quick little thing, how you can make some extra money. I did this in high school too, and you're shooting photos, you're shooting sports, you've got access where other people don't have access. We'll just say, how can you pay for this lens? It's $800. You know, if you shoot a team, the sports teams, or you shoot local teams, and you go, hey, I'll come out and shoot your team, I'll charge you $200. That's for one team. You charge the other team $200, and you go to the parents, you go, I'll deliver you all the photos. I'm just going to give you everything. You can do whatever you want. I'll make you one disc, and everybody can make copies of it. It's going to be $375. See if you can do that, and see if the leagues will let you do that. And even if you can sponsor a team, and that's what gets you in to do it, then definitely do that and kick some money back to the organization as a donation. I mean, there's a way you could just sit there and shoot for the whole team and just give them the sales pitch. Look, you've got 15 kids on the team. If every kid was, $20, you're looking at $300 right there, and everybody's going to get pictures, and they can do whatever they want with them. That's a quick little thing there. All right, what other questions do we have in the room, guys? I think we're going to go for about another 10 minutes. And then we'll be wrapping up this SpreeCast number 2. But I will say, we are working on trying to do a SpreeCast live from CES in Vegas, where I will try to hit on iJustine because she'll be there as well on the floor. Maybe not on the floor with me literally, but we'll try to find her and see if we could do a dance-off. Dance-off. Not pants-off, dance-off, but just a dance-off. Oh, man. Good, yeah, SpreeCast is working pretty well here. Now, somebody give me a question, please. Please, please, please. Question, person on.
Somebody's queued up.
What was that, Ed? There we go. Alexi, are we calling from? We'll say.
Hey, hello there.
Hello, where are you calling from? We're going to just say Slovakia. Russia.
No, Russia.
Where at in Russia?
Near Moscow.
Oh, nice. I like this. This is good. What question do you have?
You always say that 17 to 200 millimeters is good for portraits, but how about 85 millimeter lens?
Awesome.
Go ahead, Adam. You take that. You like primes more than I do.
Yeah, I mean, 85. What is it? 85 1.8 or 1.4?
1.8.
Or either one.
Either one. And what body?
That's a fantastic portrait lens. You can shoot portraits with that thing all day long. The nice thing about it is that it's very fast. You can open up the aperture, you get really nice selective focus, shallow depth of field. It's really flattering, nice compression. Really super tack sharp for doing portraits as well. Obviously, depending on whether you're doing a DX or FX camera. Really quite a versatile lens. I mean, you're going to probably get ultimately more versatility with the 70 to 200, but the new 70-200s, they're so sweet and they're so sharp that they actually are on par with what, the 85 primes used to be.
But let me ask you this, Alexi. What camera are you on?
Canon Rebel XSI.
Okay, you could get something like an 85 1.8 Canon for a couple $100. I don't know how many rubles that is, but it would be a couple $100, and I think it would be a really good portrait lens. Because I know that the 70-200 is a little more expensive, but an 85 1.8 would be a really good lens for you to do portraits with. So it's definitely recommended. It's just for what I'm personally shooting. I like to move a lot. I like to move in and out. I like to recompose as much as possible, which you can still do by moving your feet in and out. But yeah, that's an 85 is good. Cool?
Oh, yeah, thank you.
All right. Hey, have fun over there, all right?
Okay.
All right, that was cool. I mean, we've had Russia. We've had a lot of places call. We got a lot of people in the room. That's really good. We have some more questions to throw up in here. because I know we're winding down, but we announced the Golden Fro Pick winner, and we didn't lose too many people. They didn't get all upset. Let's see. As an amateur photographer, do I really need Photoshop, or will Lightroom do? Adam, you know what? You mind if I talk a little quick about this?
No, please take this.
Yeah, as an amateur, can we still see me in the room, everybody? I saw somebody say that I froze. Did I freeze, or am I good? I think I'm still good.
Excuse me.
All good. As an amateur, God bless you, Adam. I like Lightroom. I mean, for 90% of my photography things, maybe even 99% for what I personally do, Lightroom does what I want it to do. You can do a lot of tweaks. Obviously, you can do the same thing in Lightroom that you can do in Photoshop when it comes to editing your RAW files. When it comes to touching up, you have more ability to touch up better in Photoshop, but you still have some basic touch-up capabilities in Lightroom with the cloning stamp and the healing brush and stuff like that. So I think you can get away with Lightroom, especially for the price. If you can get it for on sale at like $150, it's a great way to go. Go ahead, Ad.
No, I agree. I mean, I think that the thing that also is wonderful about Lightroom is how much of an organizational tool it is, and how much versatility you have with Lightroom. I mean, you can create contact sheets with Lightroom. You can create slideshows to publish to the web. You can, create so many different things in Lightroom beyond editing, and you can also keep all of your files really nicely organized. So I think that as an amateur photographer, starting with Lightroom is a really great way to keep your files organized and edited. And then as your editing progresses, and you realize, you know what, I really want to do layering masks, I want to do a lot of advanced kind of editing, I want to do some advanced retouching, yeah, then get into Photoshop. I mean, it's a pretty robust program. It's pretty deep, so there's a lot to learn with that.
And it's really expensive. Photoshop's just really is a blah, blah. My voice is good. I think it's coming back. I'm taking it back, guys.
Holding up. Yeah.
I'll just tell everybody what I was doing. I'll give you a quick insight on what I was doing for the last 3 days. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I had a full film crew here. We were filming for the FroKnowsPhoto Beginner's Guide. We have 5 days in the can of that, and right now it's going to editing. That is going to be one of the first long-form kind of product/videos that I'm going to put out there that's really geared towards that beginner photographer that is either just getting started or is a year in and just has never really ventured out of auto and wants to get that leg up. The book, the guide is really, it's going to give you really good information. It may not go into the most technical detail ever, because I'm a big fan of giving you the basics and then sending you on your way to go and try it. So I'm showing you cause and effect and what's going on if you do this and if you do this, more so than giving you every little technical detail, because I think we would lose a lot of people with technical detail. So yeah, that's all I'll say about that right now, but it's a really cool guide. There's some funny videos. There's going to be a ton of outtakes, I'm sure. We'll have a whole gag reel of just outtakes. Greg or Anthony, do we have anybody we could throw in on video to basically get this almost over? We got Justin. Whoa, Justin, what's up?
Hey, guys. Houston, Texas here. Just wanted to say that I've been watching you guys over the past few months, and people have just noticed my photography has just gotten so much better, so thanks.
Great.
Awesome.
My question is, I've seen both of you guys in Lightroom, and when you do some adjustments on exposure and sharpening, your screen turns to like a inverted, or black. I don't know what to call it, but it looks so much easier to do the adjustments, and I can't make mine do that.
Adam, go ahead.
Are you on a Mac or a PC?
I got a MacBook Pro.
Yeah, just hold down the Alt or Option key when you're doing those adjustments, and it'll mask off the screen so that you can just see what that tool is doing. So that's all it is. You just hold down the Alt or the Option key as you're moving the slider.
Yeah, I learned a lot from watching Adam and these. Here, Justin, can you mute your audio real quick? Thank you. So I watched Adam's last video with Avril Lavigne, and I always have this problem where I can't remember what quick key is it to get that red halo to show up where I'm actually painting in the eye, to change my exposure. For everybody, that's the O key on my Mac here. I hit the O key for overlay, right, Ad? Overlay? Give me a head shake. Yeah, overlay, and that is really cool for when I'm healing up that around the eye, or I want to heal something. I want to see where I've actually added anything. I hit O. O was great. Thank you, Adam, for giving me the O. Go ahead, Ad. No, wait. You didn't give me the O, Ad. You didn't give me the O. I'm sorry. You told me how to use
that go. Look, any of you guys out there, if you go into the help menu on Lightroom and you type in keyboard shortcuts, you will find a wealth of information. And, you know, keyboard shortcuts not only will unlock hidden nuggets that you didn't even realize were in Lightroom, but it'll speed up your workflow and your editing process, because instead of trying to hunt for trying to figure out, you know, oh, what key do I hit, what do I do, you can still be focused on the screen and use the keyboard to ramp up your workflow. So if you guys can, take the time, get that keyboard shortcut key on your screen and spend some time with it. You know, there's a lot of really nice nuggets in there.
Awesome. Okay, so let's get Leon's question on. Justin, thank you very much, and keep watching. We've got more information, and that FroKnowsPhoto Beginner's Guide is on its way. I think you'll like it.
Thanks.
Cool. All right, so I see Leon. Do we have a Leon question? Let's see. I'll be going to China to take photographs on the 22nd. Do you guys have any tips that I should take note of? Yeah, don't do anything stupid when you're in China, because you may never come home, because they're a pretty tough country over there, wouldn't you think, being the communist nation that they are? But with that said, there are a ton of beautiful places to photograph in China. And I had a friend who lives in New York that I went to school with in Philly. He loved China. I saw what he came back with. I mean, could you imagine going to the Great Wall of China and just... the history, capturing something that is so old, and there's so much there's art and architecture. I would just concentrate on shooting landscapes, then shooting detailed shots of everything that you see. I mean, I'm a big fan of covering just about every angle, but yeah, I'll get to you in 1 second. Just, yeah, details of the art and the history, and just tell the story of where you're at and what's going on. And if you can capture the people, then try to capture some people, but be careful doing it. Go ahead, Adam.
I completely agree with that, you know, and I think that capturing the people is cool, and there's a lot of opportunities for you to do that in a cool way. There's a lot of open air markets where you can go, and there'll be all kinds of, you know, people watching opportunities. Don't be afraid. I mean, obviously you have to kind of gauge what it is that you're going for, but if you're a portrait photographer, you know, you might spend more time shooting people. If you're a landscape photographer, you know, the possibilities are endless. So I agree with exactly what you're saying there.
Yeah. How's my Cyclops? I still haven't figured it out. Like, I can't get it perfectly lined up. This company called Cinnovates, I asked them to test out this Cyclops thing, which really is awesome. It's got this 72 millimeter lens in the back that brings up for video, like makes your screen look huge so you can get your focus right. I can't figure out, there's some problems. I can't get this thing off, and I have the tool, and the tool just doesn't work, so I emailed them. I'm not really too happy with that, because I really want to use this to shoot Matis Yahoo in the next couple days. Yeah, not too happy about that one. So if we have one more guy on camera, why don't we take one more, and then we'll wrap this up. And let's see, we got Nathan. What's up, Bieber?
Hello. I've got a quick question to ask. What is a good lens for portraits or live shows, like at concerts or something like that?
That's a tough one. That's a good one. It goes many different ways. You could, portraits, we just talked about the 70 to 200 being good for portraits. If you're on a DX camera, what could be good as well is, let's see, a 24 to 70 on a DX could be good for portraits and good for shooting live shows. What camera are you on?
I've got a Nikon D90.
So he's got a D90. I think a wider lens may be good for you. I think that would, for shooting shows, I think a 24 to 70 would be a cool little range for you to shoot. Or for a D90, if you could find a 35 to 70 2.8 Nikon, it's an older lens, but you may be able to find it for like $300 or so. It may give you a really cool portrait lens and a really good ability to get shots at a live show in both vertical and horizontal.
Yep.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Just a quick thing to add to Jared.
Yeah.
I have you on Facebook, and I'm sorry for annoying you about that video.
I haven't seen it yet.
I sent you the link to my film.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry for annoying you about
Right. Yes, you sent me like 14 messages in a row. I think I remember. I'll get to it.
Yeah.
I definitely will get to it. It takes time. There's so many things always going on, and I've been really busy for the last week. But yeah, keep shooting.
Yeah.
And good luck. Have fun.
Okay, thanks.
All right, you're welcome. So yeah, I think that's about it. Ad, this was fun. Let me ask the question, guys. Type this into the chat box. Do you like the more rapid fire, bringing people on camera, giving them 2 minutes, putting questions up, giving that 2 minutes? Do you like this method, this style really a lot? Yeah, it looks like a lot of people do like this. If there's any recommendations that you guys would like to see for us to do better, use the Facebook comment box if you have suggestions and say, hey, yeah, we'd like to see you do this or we'd like to see you do that. The whole goal for these SpreeCasts is to try to work with you guys as much, more free stuff. I hear you. We're trying. I mean, the Golden Fro Pick winner, you know, DeMar Watson's he's going to be happy with this. We'll try to get more free stuff as we move on. But I think the whole point for SpreeCast is to interact as much as possible with you guys, because it's all about you. Because without you, we don't really have a site to keep creating content for. And obviously, as the year's coming to an end, we're very appreciative for all of you guys out there for supporting the site, for picking up some holiday fro gear stuff, for sending Lil T, for doing all of that stuff. It really, really means a lot, and we've grown a lot as a community. Father Anthony, we have to give a big thank you to him for running the forum. He's the head moderator in there. We've got the other moderators. We've got Joe. We've got Mark. So we've got a bunch of guys in there that really just do a great job day in and day out, answering your guys' questions and keeping the forum running. And Adam and I do a lot of this, making a lot of content. And what's his name? Andrew sits there in Michigan doing whatever Andrew does, because Andrew is always, having fun. So yeah, a big thank you to you guys out there first and foremost for helping us keep this going. And yeah, we just want to keep building and bring you bigger, better content as the year goes on and as the site keeps growing. So Adam, yeah, Mark Evers, thank you, Mark Evers. Adam, go ahead. I'm sure you want to fill some stuff in there.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. I'm kind of in awe and humbled by the kind of support that the Fro community has given to everything that we're doing here, and it's really inspirational. It inspires me to continue to create new content, to try to share things with you guys, and it's really nice to see that there's so many people out there that are so interested in working at their craft and helping to support us to help you guys out as well. So, like Jared too, I want to thank everybody. I want to thank everybody, in the Fro camp, who's also working behind the scenes. Anthony, Mark, Joe, Andrew, all you guys, and I want to thank Jared, for helping to, put my, bring my channel into fruition. It was kind of like a little bit of an idea that we had. Now we've got over 6,000 subscribers
on yours.
So I'm really, thankful for that, and I'm really looking forward to doing a lot more work with you, Jared, with the Fro community, and just keeping this thing going and building on it. So thanks, everybody.
Yeah, we've gotten Adam to over 6,200 YouTube subscribers now. So you could always go and add him. If you go to Jared, my YouTube page, you can see that we crossed 54,000 yesterday, and you can find Adam's stuff from there. So big thank you to everybody. Thanks SpreeCast for giving us this platform to work with. I know that it's working really, really well. And if any of you guys want to do your own SpreeCast, this is a great way to communicate with your family at home, to study groups. Great it is a great thing for study groups, especially if you're at college, and whatever you're doing, there's a use for SpreeCast. So thank you guys very much. Adam, thank you very much for joining today from Connecticut.
Thank you, Jared.
Thanks, everybody who joined us. Congratulations to Damar Watson. And we're going to wrap it up right there. Jared Polin, FroKnowsPhoto.com. See ya.